Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review of the new fragrance from Commodity, Juice. This fragrance is inspired and created to be all about red fruit, specifically strawberry, raspberry, and rhubarb. And it's supposed to be done in a very modern way, like different than what you think of when you think of a fruity fragrance typically. So you can see the new packaging here. It's very standard Commodity packaging. It just says Juice. And this also, of course, comes in the 3 variations that Commodity offers: the Personal, the Expressive, and Bold. And I do have 2 travel sizes of the other formulations. So we're gonna be doing a side-by-side comparison here. I'm gonna tell you the differences between the 3, which one I prefer, and hopefully it'll help you decide which one you might be interested in trying. So we're going to go ahead and give it a spray. The note breakdown is pretty simple. We have raspberry, strawberry, Bulgarian rose, cyclamen, rhubarb, and amberwood. So you get this really nice kind of like puree of fruits that are blended very smoothly, and the florals that they put in Juice was done very specifically to kind of give it this blooming sensation. You know, it's not going to feel just like a soft kind of powdery floral. The whole idea of the rose and the cyclamen was to really create something that would bloom off of your skin, and used also to enhance the fruitiness. And you get a little bit of amberwood in the base that is going to give it a little bit of depth and dimension, like a little bit of density to the scent. So this opens. The first thing you think when you smell this, at least for me, is just wow. Like, it definitely has this like punchy kind of wow factor in the opening, but it does settle pretty quickly, I will say. Definitely juicy to the next level in the opening, like juicy, juicy, juicy. They did not misstep with the name here. It is probably the most dominant strawberry fragrance that I've ever smelled. I mean, the raspberry is here, and there is something a little tart about it as well, especially as it gets down into the mid. You're gonna feel a little bit more of this, like, not really sharpness, but a little bit of this kind of like tartness from the rhubarb. But wow, strawberry to the max in the opening here. And the rhubarb, once again, it's not going to be very sharp, but what it's going to do is it's really going to help enhance that strawberry. It really feels like, for me, strawberry is kind of like the star of the show in the opening. And I keep emphasizing the opening because this fragrance does change a lot. Not necessarily in how the like new notes that are being uncovered, but I really feel like the personality that the scent has in the opening kind of changes into the mid. So in the opening, it's all about strawberry, and it feels like all the other notes are kind of there to enhance that strawberry feel. And the rhubarb also kind of gives it a little tiny bit of this kind of like vegetal feel. Very subtle, like don't get scared when I say that. It just kind of adds a little bit of a greenness, very, very, very minimal, but I do pick it up. And what I think it really does is it just kind of bridges together the fruitiness and the florals. It's like a really nice balancing note in between. But as it dries, like I said, when you go into the mid, you're going to start to get more of this tartness. And the thing is that I wasn't expecting when I first got this was that into the mid, it really becomes more floral. You're really going to pick up more on this rose and this kind of like cyclamen. I don't really know exactly how to describe exactly how that smells to you, but what it gives to me is like a very modern type of floral feel. Like, it's definitely done in a very modern, like up-to-date type of way. It doesn't feel like a typical floral scent, but definitely into the mid and dry down, you're going to get a lot more of this rose and flowers, which is not what I was expecting, especially with the name Juice. But I don't necessarily mind that. Like, it's not like a deal breaker for me. I still really like the scent. I think it's beautiful. And you do get this hint of strawberry throughout the whole life of the scent. So it does retain that kind of fruitiness, but you are going to see some more florals coming up in the mid, in the dry down. And in the base, you're going to kind of unveil this warmer kind of amberwood woody side. But once again, it's pretty subtle. It's not gonna feel like a super woody fragrance. So with the name Juice, sadly, you're just going to get most of that like beautiful juiciness in the opening, and then it's gonna turn more into like a softer, slightly powdery kind of floral scent. But it's weird because it's like that powderiness coming from the florals mixes with the creaminess coming from the fruits. It's an interesting balance. And it doesn't really transform that much. Like I said, it's pretty linear. You're just going to see like a different balance of the notes as it dries, but you're not really gonna like discover anything new. It's gonna retain that same type of scent profile. I think it smells pretty tropical. Honestly, I haven't heard anyone say this, but I get magnolia in this. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I definitely get some sort of like tropical floral vibe. Very soft, but I do find it in here. Like it gives me summer vibes. It's giving me like a day out on Miami Beach. But this version in particular, Expressive, this for me is going to be a little more like specific for the beach or like going out during the day. Like maybe even like a lunch with the girls or something, a day out on Miami Beach. Like it feels casual to me and it doesn't really feel dressy or anything like that. It's just a very easy, casual scent, fruity scent. Day to day, it's refreshing, very fresh, feels airy, but it has a little bit of density to it. I'm excited to keep testing this one out through the warmer months here in Miami. But now I want to talk about the personal version. You can see that that is signified by the minus sign. So this scent is designed to be a very similar fragrance, but meant to be a little bit more soft, a little more personal, as the name would say, a little bit more of like a your skin but better. Like it's not going to be a projection beast. It's going to feel like a skin scent. It's gonna sit closer to you. You're not gonna get a huge bubble. And I like that Commodity does that. I think it's cool because, you know, some people, you can love a scent, but maybe it's too strong for you, and vice versa. Maybe you would love something and it's too soft for you. So with Commodity, you have an option with all of their fragrances between the three intensities. So I think that's very cool. So we'll spray this one. And this is basically going to be the same exact notes, but they add a nice kind of like violet leaf note to this. It's gonna make it feel a little bit more sparkly, like a little more effervescent, kind of bubbly in a way. Definitely also a lighter element. It immediately feels like right there from the opening, it feels less juicy, less fruity, and more floral because of that violet note. I would say that in here in the personal, the violet note is going to be really the star of the show, but you still get that kind of like strawberry undertone to it. And I like the way that the violet is done here too, because it kind of feels to me like a sweet kind of like candied violet, but not overdone. You know how sometimes like that can be done in like a very sugary sweet way. Think of things in Kayali that have candied violets. It can be a little sweet sometimes. This is not like that. It has a hint of this kind of sweetness, but it's not overdone. Because I'm not the kind of person that loves to wear those types of scents. I like it to be a little more grown up feeling. And I will say that this feels a little bit more, although personal and softer, it feels a little bit more dressy to me. Very delicate, it's feminine, very pinky, and still very silky. I forgot to mention with the Expressive version is that it feels very silky, very, very velvety and silky smooth. There's definitely a lot of quality to this, you know, like the texture of it is very silky, and this kind of takes it to the next level because of that violet. Very, very velvety. And this feels a little bit more elevated, but it still has that kind of tropical vibe too. Tropical florals with some musks. It's going to be a little bit more powdery than the Expressive version as well. But now let's go ahead and spray the bold version. You can see the plus sign on here with the all black. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I love travel sizes. Like I have like 10 of these in my purse at all time. Like I like to have options when I'm on the go. But this is going to feel like a nighttime version of Juice. This is going to add vetiver and patchouli, so you're gonna get a little bit more of this darkness to this scent, but it's really not overdone. It does feel denser. It feels like a darker presentation of this scent profile with more depth as well, definitely. You can feel that right from the beginning. And the fruits come off a little bit thicker too. Like it's not as airy feeling. It's almost like the fruits in this kind of come off more as like a marmalade, like a nice kind of like thick, kind of chunky marmalade. Pulpy with those added notes of patchouli and vetiver just gives it something a little more interesting. And definitely out of the three, this fragrance, the bold version, kind of feels more like a finished perfume. I don't know, it just feels the most balanced because of those base notes. And this one is incredibly juicy, very, very juicy too. And it has this kind of amberiness to it as well. A little bit of this resin, but the patchouli and vetiver in this, I would say, it's pretty minimal. It's definitely there, you can smell it, but it's not that strong in this scent. I really feel like it just kind of adds a little bit of a personality to the fragrance, a bit of character. It doesn't really go earthy or green, so don't let that scare you. It just gives it a little bit of strength and a little bit of like a oomph. And it has a sensuality to it as well. It's really gorgeous. And it's going to be the strongest and the longest lasting as well. The bold line is created for someone that really wants to have their fragrance known to the world. They want everyone around them to smell them. But I feel like this is going to be a little bit better for the nighttime. This is like a sexy summer date night scent, and it has a little bit of this kind of like burnt caramel vibe to it. It's not going to go like in the direction of Baccarat Rouge, like it's not going to feel like that, but it definitely has this kind of like burnt caramel vibe with a little bit of berries. It's really sexy. Like this is the sexy one out of the three. So the question is, which one is my favorite? Now, this is going to be very tough to answer because I like all of them for different reasons, and I know that I will wear all of them for different occasions, but I feel like the personal version would be the one that I go to the most. Just day to day, I love the femininity of it. I love that sparkling violet as well. I think it's very pretty. Versus the Expressive, I feel like would be perfect for like a beach day or like a lunch date or something, and the bold is definitely going to be reserved for the nighttime. For date night, even like going out to a club or something. I don't go to clubs, but if you do, this would be a very sexy scent that would get you a lot of attention. It would make you stand out too, because it definitely has like a sexiness to it and like a really nice flirty factor too. I think that Juice is a very good release. It's not really what I was expecting. I mean, I expected the fruitiness of it, like that strawberry, but I wasn't really expecting to have such a floral interpretation of the scent in the mid and dry down. So just go into it knowing that. I feel like that's what's kind of been a letdown for some people, is that they were expecting just like a straight up, very juicy, like jammy type of fruity scent. Just know that it's gonna have a little bit of a floral aspect, and the best thing to do is to go into Sephora and test all three, why not? This is the first release that we've seen from Commodity in 3 years. I think it's a great one. Seems to be a little polarizing to some people, but I can truly appreciate it. All three versions. It's fun, it's summery, it's casual, a super fruity perfume done in a not so typical way. But guys, that was just my first impression review of the new fragrances from Commodity: Juice, Personal, Expressive, and Bold. Please leave a comment below if you've tried any of these. What do you think about it? Do you love it? Was it a letdown for you? I would love to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.